Hi, welcome to Mark's English Academy, the place to learn English fast. If you want to have really good English pronunciation, then this is a very important lesson for you. So, this lesson is about syllables and stress marks. A syllable is a piece of sound in a word. So, some words have one syllable, some words have two syllables, or three syllables, or four syllables, or any number of syllables. Take a look at this, for example. Mark's English Academy. The word Mark's has one syllable, English has two syllables, and Academy has four syllables. If you listen carefully, you can hear how many syllables each word has. Mark's English Academy. Okay, a stress mark is this red thing. It's called a stress mark because it adds stress or emphasis to a syllable. So the word English has the stress on the first syllable. English. You can't say English, or else nobody will understand you. Or academy. It has to be on the second syllable. Academy. You can't say academy. This is really, really important because if you get it wrong, nobody will understand what you're saying. So most of the time, we can hear how many syllables are in a word, but sometimes it's kind of hard to tell how many syllables are in a word. Take the name Jeremy, for example. Do you think it has 2 or 3 syllables? The way I say it, it has 2 syllables. Jeremy. Jeremy. But British people would say Jeremy. Jeremy. So we say it a little bit differently. But it doesn't really matter because both of us put the stress on the first syllable. Jeremy. Jeremy. Okay? So I want you to look at this word, and I want you to tell me which syllable has the stress. I know it looks like a crazy word, but I've actually used this word in real life, so it's not that crazy. Can you see where the stress mark should go? You probably don't even know how to pronounce this word, so I'll tell you. It's floxinosinylipilification. Okay, did you hear where the stress was? Floxinosinylipilification. Yeah, you're right. It's on the second last syllable. Floxinosinylipilification. You're probably wondering what this word means. So I'll tell you. It means viewing something as worthless. Viewing something as worthless. For example, if I was invited to a party every week, let's say you invited me to a party every single week, and I thought, the party probably won't be any fun, and probably no one will even talk to me. I'll just stay home. Then I would have a tendency toward floxinosinylipilification because I think about the party and I view it as worthless. So I'm just going to stay at home. All right, so in that word, the stress is on the second to last syllable. Now, sometimes in English, the stress can be on different syllables depending on which country you're from. So I'm from Canada, and here are two examples of how I would say words differently from a British person. Okay, I would say this word laboratory. Laboratory. So I put the stress on the first syllable, but British people say laboratory. Okay, they put the stress on the second syllable. I think they say it better because listen to how I say it. Laboratory. Okay. I put the stress on the first. Laboratory. Laboratory. Where's the O? When I say it, the O disappears. So when the British people say it, they say laboratory. So they actually say the O. So that's better. The second word, aluminum. I say aluminum. A British person would say aluminium. Aluminium. Okay? Aluminum, aluminium. In this case, I think I say it better because I say all the vowels, aluminum. They say aluminium. So they add an I after the N when there is no I. I don't know why they do that. But anyway, those are some examples of how, depending on the country you're from, you can put the stress on different syllables. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I know which syllable to put the stress on? It's a very good question, and I'll give you some tips. But first, it's sponsor time. This lesson is brought to you by nobody. Instead of watching me play the balalaika, you could be sponsoring my lessons. When most people think of pronunciation, they think of making sounds like r, l, th, I, a. All of that is important, but this is more important. The reason this is more important is because if you say the sound th wrong, nobody will care. But if you do this wrong, nobody will understand you, and that's a problem. That's why this is so important. I'll give you an example. Imagine that there's a man from India here. So there's me and a man from India, and we both say the exact same sentence. So he says, I don't like his conduct. And I say, I don't like his conduct. Okay, most people will understand him, and nobody will understand me. Even though I spoke with a perfect accent, they won't understand me because I put the stress on the wrong syllable in the word conduct. I said, I don't like his conduct. Okay, so I hope you can see why this is so important. And here are some tips to help you try and understand this a little bit more. So the first tip is there's only one stressed syllable per word. It doesn't matter how long the word is, how many syllables it has. There's only one syllable that is stressed. So in the word floxinosinylipilification, you might be thinking it sounds like there's more than one syllable that's stressed. but that's not true. The word just goes up and down like this. Most words have a little bit of a rhythm. They can have small stresses, floxinosinylipilification, but there's only one real stress in a word. Okay, the second tip is only vowels are stressed. This is pretty easy because this is how we naturally talk. It's almost impossible to put the stress on a consonant. So look at this word, adjectives. If I try to put the stress on the T, adjectives, it just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. It sounds ridiculous. Okay? So the third tip is most nouns and adjectives with 2 syllables have the stress on the first syllable. So look at these words: present, conduct, export. But most verbs, on the other hand, with 2 syllables, are stressed on the second syllable. So present, conduct, export. So these are the exact same words, except these are nouns and these are verbs. That's crazy. We can even use these words in the same sentence. For example, I could say, China exported the exports to Canada. China exported the exports to Canada. Or, I present you with a nice present. Okay, I present you with a present. All right, so it's important to get these right. A lot of people make the mistakes. A lot of people make the mistake with the verbs and with the nouns. They switch them up, and it's very hard to understand what they're saying when they do that. So try to remember this especially, the difference between the nouns and the verbs. Okay, the 5th tip is when a word ends in ik or shun, then the stress is on the second from the last syllable. So not the last, but the second from the last. Barbaric, vacation. All right, and with words that end in cy, ty, phy, gy, and al, they have the stress on the third syllable from the last. Okay, democracy, fertility, photography, biology. Okay, so we need to count from the back, not from the front. So 1, 2, 3, and again 1, 2. All right, now if we change these words to have IC endings, then it would change to this. Okay, for example, the word democratic. If I say democratic, the stress is over the A, democratic. But if it's democracy, then the stress is over the O, democracy. Okay, so there are some tips. I know it's a little bit confusing, and it's very hard to use this in real life when it's so much theory. It's hard to speak it out. But if you think about this, the more you think about it, I think the easier it will become when you actually try to use it in real life. So good luck, and that's it for this lesson. If you want to learn more words like floxinosinylipilification, then click on the subscribe button right down there, and I'll see you over in the next lesson. Take care.